Hello, 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 and welcome back to DLA Alternative. It's your boy Brandon, and I hope everyone is doing phenomenal as always. And thank you to everyone who keeps subscribing. I always want to give you guys shout outs. It's blowing my mind as always. So thank you. I really do appreciate all the love and support. It really means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much. But let's jump right into this one. This is going to be the Stranger Things, The Shining Theory Part 2. And the reason I'm jumping this one in front of others is because over the weekend, I analyzed The Shining once, just watching it regularly through to see if I noticed anything right away, which I did. And a second time, which I analyzed very thoroughly for imagery in the background and throughout the entire movie. So let me just tell you, I have pages and pages of notes based off of The Shining that compare directly to Stranger Things and things that are straight up in Stranger Things, the show, that are also in The Shining. And we're going to do these videos in multiple parts because there's an extreme amount of info and imagery and lines and all that. I haven't even analyzed everything that they are saying through the movie yet, like the lines and all of the characters and how they do certain things. I haven't even analyzed that. I have pages on pages of strictly just imagery and a bunch of other stuff that you're going to enjoy. So we're going to break this down into a bunch of parts, and I'm going to throw some major ones at you in this one to get things started. So right away, the intro scene to The Shining is showing an overview of this lake or river, right? And it's showing this view like a drone shot kind of. And then it shows them driving on mountains, okay? That intro scene is already a comparison to Stranger Things, and I'll tell you why. In season 4, when that crack starts, okay, right at the very end, you see all those crack starts, and you see them as kind of drone scenes, right? Right when they're all starting. Those scenes and the intro scene from The Shining are almost identical. And actually, one of those cracks is shown starting in the water in a river, and that's almost identical to that opening scene in The Shining. It's crazy how close they are. So just take that right there, that the opening scene to The Shining is already a comparison. Also, I mentioned that they're driving along the mountainside, right? They are driving a yellow Beetle, okay, from probably the 70s or whenever, okay, that time frame. This movie came out in 1980. So they're driving a yellow Beetle. I know for a fact that this same yellow Beetle is shown at least once in Stranger Things, and that's the intro to season 4, okay, right when we're seeing Brenner's house, right? When that boy is driving his bike and throwing the newspapers at the houses, you see a yellow Beetle right there on that street. And that is the same type of Beetle that is in The Shining, okay? And I know it's seen other times in this show. I have not analyzed it enough to pay attention to that Beetle just yet. But I knew something was odd about that Beetle and why they put that there in that intro scene. And I've always had that feeling. And now all of a sudden I come across this and I'm like, what the fuck? So another really wild scene is right at the beginning, we see Danny, okay, with this lady doctor. And this lady doctor is doing a house checkup. And this scene is so closely related, okay, to when Owens is doing his checkup on Will in season 2. And he's talking to him and he's trying to be all nice and he's trying to ask him all these questions, you know, about what's going on and how things have been. It's almost the identical type of scene. And you want to know something that's interesting about this scene. If you notice on the wall, you see that rainbow sticker, okay? That rainbow sticker is the same sticker we see at the beginning of season 4 on the letter that Elle sends Mike, that Mike's reading, right at the beginning of season 4. It's the same exact rainbow. And if you look over by the window, right, you might see that Goofy hanging down, right? Well, that's a Goofy puppet. And we know in season 4 that we get Master of Puppets played. And there's theories in Stranger Things that there's actually a puppet master controlling what's going on. And I kind of have an idea that it might be something similar to that too. I don't know where it's going with that, but let me know if you want me to develop a theory based off something like that, that there is a puppet master controlling these things, or who knows? Who actually knows what the fuck that could mean? So let's jump right back into that scene and right by that window. And what do you see also? You see a little poster or a sign, and it says Tigers. Well, you already know that Hawkins High School is the Tigers, their mascot. So There's symbols all in Danny's room associated with Hawkins and Stranger Things, just in this room, okay? So let's jump right into a scene right after this when Danny is talking to what he calls Tony, which is also the little boy in his mouth. But he's talking to Tony, and he basically is talking to himself, okay? But he's talking in a different voice, and he does this thing with a finger, okay? Well, there's a bunch of comparisons in Stranger Things to Danny doing that all throughout Stranger Things, and it's crazy. And this scene is identical to when Will, at the end of season 1, throws up Dart, or what we know as Dart, and he's looking in the mirror at himself, and we get the flash of him in the upside down, and then it flashes back, and he walks out like nothing happened, right? That scene is almost identical to when Danny is standing there talking to Tony in the bathroom looking at himself in the mirror. It's almost the same exact thing. It's blowing my mind that the Duffer Brothers are so fucking clever that they are literally recreating such an iconic and theorized movie. They even throw in the lines in this show that it's just a theory. One of my favorite lines, it's just a theory, Jonathan. These guys are geniuses. So we don't see this lady doctor that much throughout this movie, but in the next scene, and the last time we see this lady doctor, is when Wendy, the mom, and her are talking after she met with Danny, and they're talking about like some personal stuff, right? And she brings up a situation about how Danny got hurt from the dad. And it was like abuse situation, okay? I don't want to go into that stuff, but it was a deeper type of situation, all right? And she's talking to this doctor nonchalantly like, oh yeah, like she doesn't really want to tell her about it, okay? That scene is also identical when Joyce is going to the police station to talk to Hopper to let him know that Will is missing. She's even sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he's asking questions about his father, Lonnie, and Joyce is nonchalant, trying to shrug it off like Lonnie has nothing to do with this. So it's almost the same type of feel and same type of scene. And both of the moms are even smoking cigarettes. It's pretty fucking crazy. Let's keep going, guys. So another one that is going to even blow your mind even crazier is later on in the movie. I'm going to jump way past a lot, okay? Later on in the movie, so much has happened at this point, right? Well, the mom, Wendy, she is walking out to go and talk to the dad. But she's really going out to try and see what's going on with him. And she brings a baseball bat to protect herself, right? And she discovers some stuff. That's another comparison I'm going to leave for another video. But she discovers some stuff, right? And there's this scene of the dad, Jack, and he's walking around the wall, right? And he sees her looking at his stuff. And he scares her, right? And she turns around and she gets scared and she swings the bat, right? And he goes, whoa, 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 what are you doing? That scene is identical to season 1 when Nancy is getting ready to go and fight the monster, right? And Steve walks up right behind her and scares her while she's practicing with the bat. And she swings it at him and he goes, whoa, 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 what are you doing? That scene is also almost identical to Stranger Things and The Shining as a whole. It's blowing my mind, people. I have more, and I have pages of these things. It's crazy, and it's some of the most talented and well-written works of film and any type of art I think I have ever seen. If all of this actually is comparisons, because these are almost identical, people. If you've watched The Shining, then you would know exactly what I mean after you're hearing these comparisons. Go watch Stranger Things and then watch The Shining, or do it backwards. It's crazy that you can notice these things when you really pay attention to The Shining. And it's not that noticeable of a symbol throughout Stranger Things. So my theory is that the Duffer Brothers are so creative that they are actually hiding this symbol throughout the entire show because it has a strong meaning to the show. Who knows? That's just my opinion, but let me know your thoughts. So actually, right after this scene is also identical to season 3 when Billy and Elle are at the cabin and Billy is walking towards Elle and they're having that deep conversation that everyone talks about all the time, that was actually Vecna and Billy and all that stuff. That conversation is identical to right after the baseball bat scene happens. Jack, the dad, is walking towards Wendy because he's trying to get into her head. And in that movie, you see scenes just like in Stranger Things where it's panned to the man, which would be Billy and the dad, and he's walking towards the camera, right? And the other scenes are Wendy, the mom, and Elle, and they're backing away from the camera. It's the same exact thing. Same feel, same shots, everything. And it's almost identical to the same type of conversation, except that conversation is based off of what's happening in that movie, and this conversation is what's happening in Stranger Things, which is why this is even more phenomenal. Because if they really are hiding this Shining reference throughout this whole show, if you really know The Shining is one of the most confusing and theorized movies of all time. And Stranger Things is now becoming one of the most confusing and theorized shows of all time. So I really think we are witnessing history in the making as the show has been created. It's absolutely phenomenal to me. And I'm not going to leave you with too much more. I want to keep things for other videos and other parts. Trust me, there is so much more. But I'm going to leave you with one crazy, crazy reference, all right? And this one could connect my Kali theory. And some people have mixed feelings about that Kali theory, but let me put this on you, okay? This connects to the Rainbow Room and Kali and Elle. When we see Kali and Elle at Hawkins' lab in that original Rainbow Room, as I'm going to call it, we see them with two toys, this green one and this red one, right? Okay, so keep that in mind when I show you this next shot, because I'm not going to leave you with anything or any information about where this is in The Shining. But this is part of the hotel in The Shining. This is a doorway, okay? That is the same exact thing, all right? You got the small square that's red in the middle. You got the big triangular diamond. That's green. Same thing as their toys. Let me know your thoughts about that. And let me know how you are liking the Shining theory. This was a bigger one than the first one because I actually started finding all of this shit so easily when I started really paying attention to it. And it's phenomenal and it's fascinating me. I have pages on pages of this stuff, people. Let's keep it going. Let me know your thoughts. It's your boy Brandon, DLA Alternative. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and as always, keep following the journey. And you already know, we out!